Alright, now we're going to be working on the main gear. Let me grab my pointer. Alright, first thing we're going to be doing is flipping this piece upside down, inserting it into here, screwing these 4 screws through the metal into the plastic. This clip gets hooked on from underneath. See if I can show that a little bit once I get all this assembled. See if I can show you that on camera. Then we're going to be assembling the anti-rotation collar and the gearing that drives the tail. This will actually flip up. This piece will fit on in this fashion, and then this will just sit on top of this. They screw together. Obviously here you're going to be using thread lock, and then this piece, your collar, will reverse thread into this disc. Okay, it's not your standard righty tighty lefty loosey. This is lefty tighty righty loosey. So this is backwards. I've already made up my links. The thing I'll tell you about these ones right here, there's 3 different links that you can follow, and it all depends on the ball links on the blade grips. I have mine set up for the 3.16 millimeters or 13.6 millimeters, which is going to put the ball in the center hole, and I'll show you that when we get to that part. The other things I did already was I've already put the ball links on the swash. I put these ball links on already. These ones are thread locked. These ones are not. Yeah, and then I'll explain all this once we get to this part. We have all the components to the head with the blade grips. I've already installed the ball links here and here, and I will discuss this more in detail when we get to that point. And the main shaft will also be going in with this step also, because once this is all assembled, it will be getting installed into the frame. Here's that piece completed. You got the 3 black screws in, and these 3 screws do not get any Loctite because you're screwing into plastic. And you also have 3 sets of spacers. Okay, these 3 big ones right here, these 3 bigger ones, will actually go right here. That will help adjust your play between this gear and this gear. Okay, so this is the top. This piece sits on top of this piece, and then these spacers will take away any play or any binding that you may have. So that's where we're at. I'll go ahead and move on to this next step. I will assemble these 3 pieces. Remember, you will be using Loctite on these 4 screws, because they will be screwing into this plate. Alright, here's the 2 pieces. This one's fully assembled. Alright, the threads up here. Let's see here. These threads right here, they will be getting thread locked into the metal sleeve. They get thread locked into this piece. Alright, so make sure you use thread lock on that. Alright, and this piece here, I went ahead and put 2 shims on. Basically what those are going to do, now that I just realized it, is that they're going to help adjust your gear meshing with your rear transmission gears. So I'm going to start off with 2, and then if I have to, I'll take one out, or I can add one. And that slides together. Just pushing that through. And then this clip right here will go on this part right here. Alright, here's the piece. Here's that C-clip. Alright. You will need a pair of pliers. I got these here. These worked, surprisingly. Worked really well, actually. It was a little tricky at first, but once you get the C-clamp spread apart, slide it down as tight as you can so that it takes out all the play in this main gear. Alright, so next step is to move on to getting the main gear, the main shaft, and getting that installed into the body. Alright, something to point out about the main shaft. Let me get my pointer. Alright, the top of the main shaft has the longer distance between the hole and the edge. This is the top, and if you give this just a roll, you see the hole right here. See how that distance is shorter? That's the bottom. So the short distance is the bottom. The long distance here to here is the top. Just wanted to point that out. Alright, the screw in this nut is what's going to secure the main gear to the main shaft. The screw is a 2.6 by 12, and the nut is a 2.5 by 5. This is a nylock or a nylon filled nut, so you don't need to thread lock this. So I'm going to go ahead and get this installed, and then I'm going to start moving, and then we're going to start working on the blade grips in the head. Now that the main gear is in, let's work on the head. Real quick. Now this is starting from your main block. You'll have this. Obviously, the spindle will be in the center. Your head button will be installed in the top. Like I said, this will go through the center, and then on this you'll have the bushing, which will be inside the head block. You'll have a spacer. This spacer has a lip on it. Make sure the lip is facing the blade grip. Okay, the lip faces the blade grip. Then you have your bearing. On this particular bearing, one side has a gold finish, the other side does not, or like a brass bronze type finish. So that's silver, and then that side is a different color. That different color points to the inside of the blade grip. Alright, the shiny part faces out. This one is the same style of bearing. The silver points in that direction over there to the left. This is your thrust bearing. I gotta get used to the magnet on these tools. Alright, this particular race right here has a larger inside diameter, okay? Then you have the bearing itself. The open side will face to the right as it's laying, okay? You face the open side to the right, which will actually face to the inside of the blade grip. Alright, this race right here has a smaller inside diameter. Then you have another washer slash spacer. Then you have the screw. All of this stuff will sandwich together inside the blade grip. That screw will attach to the spindle, and then you'll repeat that on this side. Prior to assembling all this, you need to pack this bearing with grease. Trying to get this out, I had a heck of a time trying to get this out. So trying to get this thing slid back together while it's packed with grease is going to be even more fun. So we'll see how this goes. Real quick, I just want to show you how I just throw some grease on there. I mean, just throw a lot of grease on there. It'll squish out a little bit, but that's fine. That'll just ensure that you have enough grease inside your thrust bearing. I went ahead and I put the out or the inner race, which is the one with the larger inside diameter. I've already put that inside the blade grip, and the way you put that inside the blade grip is that the race itself, it has a channel in it. The channel on the race with the larger inside diameter, that channel will face to the outside of the blade grip, and then the one that you're looking at right now, that channel will actually face the opposite direction. So you want the channels is where the bearing's right at, so those are actually the center of the bearing. It's kind of like making an Oreo sandwich. So I'll show you on the other blade grip what I'm talking about. Alright, and let's see if I can get the camera to focus. Probably not. Alright, this is the outer race with the smaller inside diameter. The channel I just packed full of grease, and the channel I'm going to face to the inside of the blade grip. It's going to go in this way. And I said I'll demonstrate that when I go to assemble the other blade grip. This blade grip's ready to go. All I'm going to do is what I did was I took the washer and the screw, I thread locked the screw, put it in, put the washer on the screw, thread locked the screw, then put the screw inside the shaft. Alright, and at the other end, keep all that grease and crap out, I went ahead and I dry fit the screw all the way down so that no grease can get in there. So when you go to put thread lock on that bolt, then you won't have any grease stopping it from binding. So basically all I have to do now is just slide this in through here. I'm going to put the camera down, finish sliding it through, and then we'll start working on the other blade grip. Alright, here we go. Alright, like I was saying earlier, this is the larger inside diameter race. Alright, there's a channel in it. Then what you're going to do is take the bearing. It's going to go cup side down. There's like a channel that those bearings ride in. Alright. And then this one here will actually flip over and it makes a bearing sandwich. Just like so. Alright, and it'll go in just like that. And then I would slide it through the blade grip just like this. It'll go in just like that. Okay? Gather that bolt that I put in right here. Right after I get the blade grip on, I'm going to take the bolt out, clean it with acetone, and then I'm going to put thread lock on it, and I'm going to secure it back in place. And these can be as tight as you can. You need to get these as tight as you can. Alright, next, according to the directions, you're supposed to be building the swash plate, but I'm going to build these up next. Alright, in the order of which you see everything is how it's going to get built. Now you got a washer in the back, or I'm sorry, you have a bearing in the back, and then the front actually has a cutout or a recess, and the back of it is flat, it's flush. So in the back you'll have a bearing and a bearing. Then you're load in on the left side 2 brass washers, bearing. On the right side it'd be 3 brass washers and a bearing, and you'll do that 2 times. And then you'll attach them with 2 screws for each arm. Here's how this is going to go together. That's what the finished piece looks like with, remember, where's mine? Where are we at? Alright, here's where we're at with this finished piece. This side has the 2 brass washers and 2 bearings. This side has 3 brass washers and 2 bearings. This screw will screw into this piece. This is metal, so you'll be thread locking this to this. Then you'll be thread locking this screw to the block. Alright. You got this red piece, got the bearing. The swash is going to go on there, like that. This is going to go on top. Then you're going to secure it with these 4 black screws. And then these 3 silver screws screw into the bottom of the swash. And then that'll complete that.